We took Dark Magician to YCS Vancouver. Over these last few months, we worked so hard on theory and crafting the most optimal list for the 2023 format. Living in Toronto, I would have never dreamt of a situation where I'd have to take a flight out to beautiful Western Canada and play one of my favorite hobbies, let alone participate in such a massive event like a YCS. Before going further, I'd like to thank the people who joined me on this journey and made it as amazing as I thought it would be. For my first YCS, it did not disappoint. All that being said, the motivation and drive to do this came from you, the viewers, so thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. In this video, we'll be going over my experience at YCS Vancouver 2023. I guess we'll start off with what everyone is here for. How did we do with Dark Magician at YCS Vancouver? In round 1, unfortunately, we went up against our most difficult matchup and lost in time. We lost 2-1 to Labyrinth in time. Game 1, we opened the nuts, we got double Dragoon on board. We ended up taking that game very comfortably. Game 2, we got locked in the D barrier constant recycling and lost that. Game 3, we obviously didn't open well, and I'm at fault to blame for this because I sided in Judgment and I sided in Cyclones just to combat the matchup. We ended on Grang, Judgment, and Cyclone, and we completely stopped him from playing. He had one card set, and I thought, okay, at this point, a Grang and Yol pitched Albion, and I was able to get Branded Fusion in the end phase on my turn. When I activated Branded Fusion, he unfortunately flipped Skill Drain. I was significantly down in life, and I was able to poke him for a little bit, not enough to win, and unfortunately, we took the 2-1 loss to Labyrinth in round 1. Round 2 was probably my most tilting match of the day, and that was to Vanquish Soul. Simply being because it was nobody's fault but my own. My opponent showed up incredibly late, and I didn't call a judge. I didn't get him to get a game loss, and it just threw my game off completely. Not to mention, he managed to open Dimension Shifter three games in a row. There wasn't anything I was really able to do about that. Our deck crumbles really hard to Dimension Shifter. It is what it is. We started our day off incredibly poorly with an 0-2 record. We ended up losing this matchup 2-1. We move on to round 3, and if you watched my previous video, you know that there was just so many decks to prep for in the format. And our third round was against Labyrinth, where we took, yes, another loss. We started our day 0-3. We lost to Labyrinth, which was a deck that our deck just completely fumbles to. We weren't really prepped for the matchup because I didn't expect to see a lot of it, or should I say there was just too much to prepare for, and I didn't value preparation for Labyrinth as much. We started our day 0-3, and it really sucked. It really took the life out of the room, but I told myself, well, I'm going to keep going. And what happens after is our next 4 rounds are W's. We beat Dogmatica in round 4, Cash in round 5 and 6, and Infernobles in round 7. And at that point, it was very adamant that X3 did not make day 2. So what we did was essentially round 8 was a for fun game. It meant nothing. We ended up just throwing our win away. So that's a complete wash. But that aside, we finished X3 after 7 rounds at YCS Vancouver. Overall, I thought the deck played exceptionally well, and I was so impressed with myself for my first ever YCS. I think an X3 record, obviously we went down 0-3 early in the day, and that significantly skewed our matchups, more so in the, no disrespect to my opponents, but in the less favorable player base, in terms of, they were also players who were battling X3 records. And however, we're only able to play what we have in front of us, and when we did what we needed to do, and we secured the wins where we got them, which was in round 4 to 7. I thought that, all things considered, we took a rogue strategy to YCS Vancouver for the main event, which is something that you just immediately, once you walk through the door, you're setting yourself up for failure at that point, right? Just putting yourself at a significant handicap. It's incredibly difficult, and I'm not giving excuses to myself. I'm not, making excuses. There was times where I could have played better. There were times where I thought I was playing really well throughout the day. And unfortunately, this is what it is, right? Topping was a monumental task that we weren't able to achieve. However, this doesn't mean that we're not going to continue striving for it, right? And even though the main event is done, there was still so much in this video I want to go over and discuss, because although our main event didn't end in a day 2 or a topping, we dominated side events, and I cannot wait to get into that with you guys shortly. I'm just gonna wrap up this recording and jump into the next. Even though our weekend ended pretty rapidly on the Saturday, finishing with an X3 record, I feel like we played our best Yu-Gi-Oh on the Sunday in the side events. We dominated the side events with this deck, and at the end of the video, I'm going to be going over the deck list very quickly and just going over the last video I made and how I felt my deck performed going into this YCS, right? That'll be happening at the end of the video. However, right now I want to talk about the way this list dominated the side events. We participated in 2 regional flights, both of which we weren't able to win. However, we made the finals in both of them. Now, making those finals in the regional flights, they're not necessarily the most difficult tasks. Essentially, what you have to do is you have to win 4 games straight to get your regional invite or your nationals invite. We ended up making the finals in both our attempts, falling just short of 1 misplay. I actually don't remember my matchups particularly well. However, this list did perform very well in those regional flights. However, where something I do want to show you guys is we participated in a win-a-mat tournament where we came first place. We dominated the event. These matchups I actually do know. Round 1 we played Sprite. Round 2 we played Kashtira. Round 3 we played Manadium, and round 4 we ended the day beating Guardian Chimera in the win-a-mat to get the ready set dual mat. So I'm incredibly proud of myself for this particular mat. It was pretty awesome. So we won a lot of games on the Sunday, and because of all these side events that we participated in, we actually accumulated a lot of tickets. We accumulated with a lot of tickets, which ultimately resulted in getting this Ultimate Slayer mat. Now, the Ultimate Slayer mat wasn't available. However, through some trading, we ended up getting a mat with the tickets we got, and through some trading and stuff like that, we worked our way up to this beautiful Ultimate Slayer mat. So I'm so incredibly impressed and proud of myself. I've wanted this mat forever. Even though, day 1, it didn't finish as well as I'd like it to be. Day 2, just dominating side events, playing some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! The deck really shined on day 2, and I was so happy with myself. I was so impressed with myself, just overcoming so many obstacles on day 2, and really, pushing myself to my absolute limits with my list. In addition to accumulating and winning these beautiful playmats, we also accumulated enough tickets as a group to get an oversized card. The oversized card was Red Supernova Dragon, as you see in the video. As you see on screen right now, there's all of us posing with it. So that was actually super awesome. We got as a collective group, so I thought it's really special like that. We also helped a friend of a friend to accumulate enough tokens to get the massive Arise Heart, which I thought was really awesome. So yeah, that was pretty much day 2. Day 2 was essentially just grinding side events, winning so many matches in the side events. We participated in, I think, 4 or 5 side events, all of which we got a minimum 2 out of 4 wins in each of those side events. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you guys the regional winning mat, which I thought was, that was why I was really pushing to get it. We've just felt short. However, I think the ready set dual mat is really cool, as is the beautiful Judge Ultimate Slayer mat. I'm so impressed with the findings that we had. In addition, there's some secret surprises I want to show later on my deck list that I picked up throughout the YCS. So let's get on to the deck list that I played. If you watched my video right before going into the YCS, you guys, I think I nailed it when I said that I thought that Kashtira was going to be the best deck in the room. Even though it didn't win, it saw a lot of play, and going through top tables, so many people were running Kashtira. Same with Pearly. I think those were the 2 best decks that didn't really push for that many crazy results. However, calling Unchained an underrated pick for the YCS was incredibly underrated. Unchained dominated the event. In fact, one of my close friends, shout out Kevin, he ended up making day 2 with Unchained. Unchained just dominated. Congratulations to Jesse Khan, who won the YCS with Unchained. I thought Unchained dominated the event. And I thought that, all things considered, we prepped our deck relatively decently for those types of matchups. So I'm not going to go too in depth with this. We played the 1 DMG, the 1 DM, like we have all this time. We played the 3 Illusion of Chaoses, 3 Magician Souls. Magician Souls was actually so crazy. It's by far the best card in our archetype. We played the 2 Magician's Rod, the 1 Timaeus, the 2 Soul Servants, and the 1 Secrets of Dark Magic. You guys know why I love this ratio. There's not too much to go into it. So that's it for the Dark Magician stuff. I've talked about this deck so many times. You guys are probably sick and tired of hearing my reasons for everything. Continuing the list, you guys know how much I love this engine. A lot of people don't like it, but we do continue playing the branded engine, the 2 Fallen of Abazes, the 2 Cartesias, along with the 3 copies of Branded Fusion, and then the 3 copies of Deployment, as well as Duality, and then the 1 Shadal Schism. Underrated card this weekend was Duality. I underestimated how crazy this card actually is. Obviously, I knew how good it was going into the format because I wanted to main it this whole time. I think it's a very strong card for DM, especially branded DM. However, during the YCS, this card was unbelievable. There were times where, you know, I burned through all 3 in a single match. There's more targets in the extra deck now for it. It just, the way it controls games by replenishing your assets and constantly dodging interruptions is so crazy. Duality was one of the best cards in my deck. Going into the event, I was actually skeptical about Duality. I thought, okay, can Duality be a stronger card, like, for example, another board breaker or a different hand trap? I am so glad I kept this card in, because this YCS, more than any other event I've been to, showed me the proper value of Duality. I think Duality is a crazy card for branded DM. It just adds so much. It does what DM significantly lacks, and that's constantly replenishes resources as well as dodging interruptions, allowing you to play further. So yeah, like I said, this doesn't change. I haven't changed this in months, right? As you probably know from keeping up with my videos. So I haven't changed this part of the deck in months. However, the next part of the deck has been changed a little bit. Like in that video, we are prepping for, you know, a specific tournament. So we did play the 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I expected a lot of branded Chimera. So that was pretty much, I didn't see branded Chimera all in the main event at all. However, Ash Blossom soloed a lot of my matchups in the side events. Nibiru was probably the most disappointing pick that I took with me. I thought, you know, Nibiru was going to be the best of the hand traps and the board breakers I played. It was by far the worst, simply because the way Unchained is able to play around it, it didn't really do anything. It came up a few times into the cash matchups in the main event, which was okay. However, those games I was kind of winning anyways because of Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse put in so much work at this YCS. I thought Book of Eclipse was so incredible. Even going first, right? If you set up like, say, Dragoon, right, and Book of Eclipse, you would burn your Dragoon negate, and then you would go cool. Your opponent would continue playing, right? And like they would kind of be on a lackluster board. Going into like Infernobles, Dragon Link, Unchained, Book of Eclipse was just so crazy because you just flip everything face down, even your own Dragoon, right? So, but even though you flip everything face down, your opponent still doesn't really have enough gas to play through, you know, everything flipped, right? They use your normal summon, they probably special, they're probably wanting to go into an extension, into a link play, and Book of Eclipse completely stopped that. Then on your turn, when everything flips up, Dragoon flips up and is immediately live again, and that just overtakes the game state, and it's just so incredibly effective. Book of Eclipse, I think, is incredible in this format. One of my favorite cards over the weekend. I thought it was really awesome. And then Secret Village in the main, because Secret Village going first is such a blowout. Fun fact though, throughout the entire day, especially day 1, I didn't see Village in 8 rounds. 8 rounds of the YCS, and I saw Village 0 times in the main event. So that was incredibly frustrating. There were so many occasions. Obviously, we lost to Lab, and Lab doesn't use a lot of hand traps. Or sorry, a lot of spell cards, because their decks predominantly traps. However, this would have helped in so many of my matchups. Closing them out earlier would have been awesome. But Village, I didn't see it at all in the main event. Village, of course, did dominate the side events. Just Village Dragoon is just so strong going first, especially in a format with a bunch of power spells. So I thought Village Dragoon, very, very good. I don't think Village leaves the deck anytime soon, especially with the way the power spells work. I will go into the extra deck now. So we'll quickly clean this up and we'll go into the extra deck. The extra deck, we are playing the 2 Dragoons. I did get my second Starlight at the event, so I thought that was really, really special for me. Now the next card I want to get a Starlight on is the Dark Magicians. I thought the Dark Magicians was actually really, really good this weekend. Just fixing my hand was incredible. So I thought that was very, very strong. Master of Chaos was actually a new addition because we caught Super Poly. So we had a little more flexibility in the extra deck. And I just opted to play Master of Chaos simply because players aren't ending on a lot of Omni Negates. I thought a Master of Chaos board wipe is actually very, very effective. Master of Chaos also being able to revive Cartesia to fuse on, your turn after it's been dealt with, for example, is just really, really strong. So I thought Master of Chaos was actually a fantastic pick. It did come up in one of my games. I'm not sure which round it came up in, but it did end the game, and I thought that was really, really cool. Outside of that, I didn't really see it. However, it was a nice addition to have in the deck. With Super Polygon, it just, with a format with very little Omni Negates, I thought Master of Chaos can see a spot in the main. So that is for the Dark Magician lineup. And then we are playing the branded cards that we have been playing this whole time. The 2 Albions, the 1 Lubellion, the 1 Sanctifier, the 1 Mirror Jade. Deployment, summon Albaz. Nobody's playing Omni Negate, so Albaz just fuses with your opponent's monsters, and then Mirror Jade, just does the rest, does the business. Mirror Jade is just so strong, right? So we love that. Then we play the Schism package, which is the 2 Windas and the 1 Apkalone. Winda, once again, it didn't really come up that much in the main event simply because I also didn't win that many die rolls. If I remember correctly, I won 2 die rolls on 7 rounds, right? So going first was not really an option for me day 1. Day 2, though, I did get significantly luckier with my die rolls. This deck loves going first, loves setting up Winda Dragoon. It's so strong, it's so oppressive. Then we play the 1 Granguignol and the 1 Dust Dragon. And for the final saucy duality target, we play the Borland Furious Dragon. There were some people that did suggest this card to me, and I overlooked it on how strong it could be, simply because it could be made off Timaeus and Lubellion, right, to dodge the imperms and things like that. So I thought that was very, very strong. And just Furious Dragon, it could be made off Timaeus as well, right? So I just think that, like, this being an interruption, this is kind of like a mini Pankratops in a sense, because it could tribute itself and deal with a problematic monster. And I think it's just very, very strong in that regard, right? So it dealt with a lot of problems, as well as providing, a better board going second, right? Because, like, say you go Branded Fusion and you go straight into the Dragoon line with Dragoon, and then you go into the Lubellion line with Dark Magician and Fallen of Albaz, pitching a card. Your opponent attempts to interact with Lubellion. You chain duality, summoning Borland Furious Dragon, and now immediately with Dragoon and Borload, I keep saying Borland. It's a Borload Furious Dragon. You have two destructions, and I just think that's really, really strong, as well as just a beefy 3000 attack is just really, really nice to have. So I did like this as a duality target. Will it stay? I'm not sure. It didn't really come up that much. However, when it did, it was definitely in a win more game state. So I don't really see a situation where this card can win me games outright. However, when it did come up, it was really, really awesome. So that's it for the side deck. We'll quickly go into the extra deck, because there is something I want to discuss. Sorry, we'll go in the side deck because there is something I want to discuss. 3 Kurikaras, I love this card. 3 Judgments. I'm starting slowly to stop seeing the value in this card. Not because I lost because of this card in time. I still think this is a fantastic card. I just feel like the deck doesn't really need help going first. I think going second is where the deck significantly lacks. So I think the next card I'm going to show you, the Talons, Herald, and the Harpy's Feather Duster were fantastic, because this card, Triple Tactics Thrust, is going to get banned. This card is insane. This card has no business being as good as it is. Going forward, I'm going to do everything I can to main this card, main deck this card. Everyone, if you have it, even consider. I don't want to say sell. This isn't a market channel. I don't know I don't want to tell you guys to spend your money one way or move your money in another. All I'm saying is if this card gets hit on the next ban list, I will say, yep, fair. This card is just stupid. It's too good. There's no place for it in this game. Just having the ability to say, cool, what your opponent attempts to interact with you in any way, and it's like, I have access to my whole deck. I have access to Branded Fusion. I have access to blowout cards. I have access to talents. It's just, this card is so ridiculous. Even in Unchained, just going first, your opponent ashes you or interacts with you at all. It's like, cool, talents, set a trap card. Set one of those trap cards and immediately your combo is live again. Like this card right now, at the time of recording this video, I could see a world where this card gets banned in the next ban list. If not limited to one, I think is that crazy. Then 3 Cosmic Cyclones didn't come up at all. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see Cosmic Cyclone. I saw Cosmic Cyclone once in round 1. Although I think this card does have a place because it just forces cards from your opponent. You know, Lab is still a deck. Lab is getting more support. Runic's still a deck, right? So I think Cosmic Cyclone is a card that will stay. However, I didn't really see its value at the YCS. Anyways, yeah, that's it for the deck. I had an amazing time in Vancouver. I can't thank the people I went with enough for making this journey such an eventful one. I want to thank everyone who, from the moment I dropped that I will top a Vancouver YCS video a few months back, anyone who stuck around, anyone who subscribed for this very reason to see how I do at this tournament. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. Now this isn't the end of our journey. I love this deck so much, and I actually really found a new passion for making YouTube content, and I'm going to continue doing everything I can to supply and provide the best content I possibly can. You know, I'm still learning with every video I upload. I'm still learning new tasks, new skills, and continuing to push myself to be a better player as well as a better content creator for everyone here. So I can't thank you enough for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and the next video will be more Dark Magician content or something else. We'll see what it is. Regardless of what it is, thank you for watching. I can't wait for the next one. See you then.